Okay, good afternoon, Avery. Welcome back. Um, this sounds working. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to go over quickly price action again today. So yesterday we had this high, um, and then this morning we had these relatively equal highs on the 15-minute chart. Uh, Price was taken 8:30 CPI candle. Um, Taken, shoots straight down. We had liquidity targets here and here, swing low. We have pull on liquidity with this imbalance. Price still hasn't been delivered. It's finally delivered here, all the way down to this candle exactly, um, which is kind of a cool little basically to that candle. Um, and then we see price uh, 8:30 come down, shoots up a little bit, creates this huge liquidity void, um, right here. Right, so this is going to be a draw on liquidity throughout the day, to fill it up until uh, until it's filled up, which we see it is eventually. But quickly, the price comes down, creates this last wick, 9:45. Right, creates this 15-minute fair value gap, or I mean order block. Um, Order block creates this breaker. So high, low, higher high, breaker, 15-minute breaker. Um, so we can see price going up. To be honest, I was looking at the weekly chart. Um, ICT's TGIF setup. Typically, we see a 20 to 30% retracement throughout the week. This is the 25, so 20% is just like right above, so 20 to 30%. So it might be coming down here. So tomorrow I'm gonna be biased on bearish. Um, I'm gonna be bearish for bias. Okay, so breaker. Um, Breaker for the day. Though it is disrespected. Don't want to go up higher. It's alright. It's already Thursday. So yeah, 15-minute order block. Um, so I'm gonna quickly mark this out. 15-minute order block. It is tested multiple times throughout the day. Right here. Good to note. Um, just so you know, I did mark the 50% of this consequent erosion of the wick. Same thing with this. If price ever does come down, I know it's going to be coming down through this wick, consequent erosion, but this is a turtle soup right here. Remember, um, don't ever have FOMO. When we see price, cause it's going to show one inversion or turtle soup as an entry, 15-minute PD array right here. We'll see this specific price later on uh, in this video, but we'll see how price reacts to it. Um, I didn't really go into the 1 hour, but quickly let's check the 1 hour. See. Oh yeah, goes straight into this fair value gap. Taps into this 1 hour high. Almost taps into it. Fills it up all the way though. Good thing to note, I've been staying in the 15-minute chart though. Uh, for we kind of see everything we need to see. ICT says, but obviously I need to see a little bit more. It goes up, creates this run to this relatively equal highs again, and then this high as well is what I had marked as its side. I'm gonna mark out this zone because this was the turtle soup. Creates this 15-minute inversion fair value gap. And the reason why I liked how it looked, actually, just so you know, there you go. That's the inversion fair value gap. The little volume imbalance right there. You got to include the volume imbalance on your fair value gaps, because it hits up, spikes down, comes up to this 50%. It does wick higher, but normal fair value gap rules say expect it to go. Actually, that's not even the full fair value gap. That's the full fair value gap. Higher wick, stop. 15-minute stop would have been up here. I would have been safe. Though I gotta ask myself, is that some drawdown that I'm willing to take? Because if you think about it, stop loss, that drawdown, $200. It's not super crazy. Target, well, I have this 15-minute order block. I also have this order block as well. I use this lower one because it was the change of state of delivery, their initial change of state of delivery. But good ratio, to be honest. Let's keep on going. And then creates this huge wick at 145. We'll see this in the lower time frames, but I'm just gonna mark this out just so we could have it. So on and so forth. Let's drop down into the 5 quickly. Okay, like we said, relatively equal highs. CPI candle took those highs, went for the sell side after it took out the highs. Goes for sell side, slows down. Time distortion right here. All this is time distortion until when price opens up 9:30, drops down, creates a first fair value gap at 9:41. But I'll be honest, fair value gap today very weak. We did have our opening price. Let's quickly go over regular trading hours. New opening price, right? Close, open, boom. Make this green. Okay. Bullish for the day. Like I said, takes sell side, goes up, runs up. First presented fair value gap. So I marked it out, but I didn't really use it. What I did note though was the order block. Remember how I wrote it down? 15-minute order block. This huge candle is the order block. It does create this small inversion, which we could have used to get in. We do not need it to get into this zone because this is technically a breakaway gap. So was using the 15-minute fair value or order block instead. It's also a breaker. The high. This is a breaker. We're adding a lot of lipstick to this, but bear with me. High, low, higher high, reverses into the breaker. And you'll see right now what I mean, but I marked this out right here. You remember this is the 15-minute breaker. Order block. Price comes up. Notice how at 10 creates this. Doesn't create a 5-minute ICT silver bullet, but let's see, at 10:50 it runs down again for the 15-minute order block, hits this breaker as well, respects consequent encroachment on both of them, doesn't close below it, does wick lower but doesn't close below it, shoots up, creates this fair value gap that's later used in the future. Now we could see, right? But remember what I said when ICT says every time price comes down, we'll come back to it right now. Comes up, makes the run for this high. Small fair value gap that it does trade back into that I could use for this target. And here's the turtle soup, reaches high. Very similar setup now that I look at it. Two candles, the green and the red. Very top. Creates this 5-minute inversion or the 15-minute inversion fair value gap. But then, as you notice, it also creates a 5-minute inversion fair value gap. And then breaks down hard. You could technically use this as an entry. Boom. Or you could use this as an entry. Price does, remember what ICT says, you got multiple gaps. How high can it go? To the gap above it. You gotta allow the gap to go above it. Allow it to gap above. And I would have gotten stopped out because I had my high here, or my stop here. If I took this though, and wanted to hold for long, which is why this 15-minute fair value gap or this inversion was a little bit better, but still, hold it plus 1 tick. I would have been safe. Come down. Okay, 1:30. Remember, 1:30 to 2 o'clock shows you when you're gonna get your setups for that's gonna be used at 2. Creates this 5-minute fair value gap. When 2 o'clock comes, uses that fair value gap. Push prices low. Where to? Well, I have these 15-minute order blocks. You could turtle soup this to the high, back into the zone, back into internal liquidity, which is just back into this area. But like I mentioned earlier, when you're coming down, mark out every fair value gap, every order block, everything, every PD array that was used to go up, um, discount PD array to go up, market going down. And so marked it going down, uses price typically comes, refers back to the PD array on the way up. So that way it could react to price. If it keeps on pushing down like it did right here, um, obviously creates an inversion fair value gap. But every PD array, remember, has a opposite effect on it. So an order block, in simple terms, is just a breaker is just a failed order block. So say for example this breaker or order block, say price went lower after this. So you got the high, low, low, high, and then breaks down lower low. This no longer becomes an order block, it becomes a breaker though. High, low, or lower low, or low, high, lower low, and becomes an order block or breaker. So a breaker just becomes the opposite. So with the order block. So let's keep on going down into the 1 minute quickly again. So like I said, 5 minute fair value gap. This was a breaker. And this was our nothing, morning. So like I said, 9:30, price opened up down here, comes up, bullish, bullish for the day, or for the morning session at least. Quick note, 10 o'clock, does it hit our strike? 70% no. Does hit it though later on in the day and actually fills it up all the way. But like I mentioned earlier, you got relatively equal highs on the 1 minute right here. Price used it to, like I mentioned, go lower, comes back up, time distortion within this zone. Technically comes up to this order block and then rejects down. Price opens up. Initial first presented fair value gap. Like I said, it was small. Price does come down to it eventually in the future, but it's just too small for me personally. So comes down. Like I said, inversion fair value gap. This whole entire thing, 15-minute breaker or order block, 5-minute order block, and becomes a 1 minute order block. I marked the 1 minute order block to be this right here, candle, because it breaks through, validates this as an order block, doesn't validate this. Correct me if I'm wrong, this red candle is, because there's a red candle, it does not make this whole entire thing an order block, but I'm not too sure. If someone could please help me. But order block comes down, finally creates this as an inversion fair value gap, as well as a normal fair value gap that it uses to come in. So 1 minute, inversion fair value gap. Where am I aiming if I take this entry? High. Comes up, like I mentioned earlier. High. This actually might be the new breaker though. But high, low, higher high, right here. This candle right here validates it as a breaker. And where do we go with breakers in fair value gaps? When there's a breaker and a fair value gap, if it does trade into it, it's a unicorn. This is a unicorn right here. So yeah, I'm gonna take this off now because we do see the breaker is tested multiple times. It is actually holds up really freaking well. So yeah, it also holds up this order block, this 15-minute order block, really well. We're getting a better look at it. I'm cleaning up the chart a bit more. So yes, you could take this entry, aim for the mid gap. When does the entry come? 10 a.m. You want to wait specifically for a ACT silver bullet. You have these possible entries, these fair value gaps, but like it shows very disrespected each time. But why? Because we had these higher time frame PD arrays, the breaker, the order block, each one's disrespected. We have higher time frame PD arrays. Need to keep an eye on the higher time frames, right? I got lost today because of that. Bad thing that I do, but I need to keep an eye on the higher time frames. But need to switch between them more. Finally, creates displacement out of them. At 11, just before the lunch macro, and a inversion fair value gap as well. So that would have been a good entry. This is also the 5-minute fair value gap, I believe. So I have possible entries right here. Let's take a quick look at the turtle soup because I wanted to see how it looks on the 1 minute. Turtle soup was right here. And it really just rejects hard every time from the higher time frames. This one was the only one broke the high, but oftentimes in my head I'm thinking possibly it rejects really hard off of it. How much is that? Like, say if I took this as an entry, stop loss at least has to be almost 100. No, that's a lot of ticks. How do you know when you should take it versus like this where it was just instant reaction? Well, over here, right below it, you remember in the 5-minute, or is it the 15? Um, where does it go to? Right here. The 1 hour also comes where to? Right here, these highs. Higher time frame is important. Learn that, Avery. I don't. I'm stubborn right now. I'm not looking at higher time frames. I'm trying to be a 1 minute king. I need to be more than a 1 minute king. 11:30 macro right here. 11:30 macro. What does it do? Run to liquidity or inefficiency. 11:30 starts to drop slowly, but bounces off this order block right here. 1 minute order block. Also a breaker. High, low, higher, high. Comes back down. Also, I believe an optimal trade entry. Yep. OTE. Swing low, swing high. Take this entry. Boom. Where's my target? Standard deviations. Where does it go? That's fucking beautiful. One standard deviation. One standard deviation perfectly right above there. That's fucking insane. Even if I that would have been a great entry. Remember, time and price is important. Very important. I would have not gotten this. Like they said, it has to break relative. You gotta break a high. It breaks this high. The reason why it works, because it broke this high. Swing low, swing high. Boom. Possible. Another entry. If I wanted. Breaks it. Returns low. Breaks this low. Creates a swing high. I'll mess with this later. Do my own some back testing on OTs, because maybe OTs make it simple. Helps you. 5 minute fair value gap, remember? Also, this 15 minute inversion, also a 5 minute inversion. You could see price coming down, going into this order block. And let's go to 2 p.m. or 1:30, I guess. 1:30. Creates this low, 145. Candle retraces back up. If you want to do a turtle soup, where does it break? This low. It breaks into this this fair value gap that was back here earlier. Breaks this low. Turtle soup. Fair value gap. Creates this it's an inversion. Creates this inversion. Oh wait, no, sorry. I'm talking bullshit right there. Comes up, trace it down low for the day. We're done. Hopefully this was a lot quicker. Little quick review for myself personally. I was in the zone this afternoon trying to take trades on my phone. To be honest, I got killed fucking by the chop. Not by the chop, but by myself. I saw these trades, I wanted to capitalize on these moves, and because I was capitalizing on mm, uh, anything there, um, or trying to capitalize on anything there, and without any clear market direction, because I had these highs, I just didn't. If I had this set up, I would know, okay, I have this draw liquidity, or I have these inefficiencies that were used in the afternoon or in the morning. I could use them in the afternoon, and so uh, as like draws. And so remember lesson today: look at higher time frames. And I kind of figured out finally what turtle soups are. I knew what they are, but now I know how to find them a lot easier. So good luck to you, future Avery.